Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for May 16th, 2020, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Just to let everybody know, we're inching towards halfway of the 100,000 for the Celestial Chamber, so it is greatly appreciated for all of you who are participating. It's phenomenal. So we continue to raise the funds on a day-to-day basis. We will get there. When we look at different aspects of our existence here with this planet, with our consciousness, our pure consciousness within the body, the God, it's really for each of us to discover what we are. And it's quite deceptive when we're in physical form because there is so much interplay with our surroundings and influencing us. That's why there is so much distraction. And we look at certain aspects of this existence, if we're disconnected in a way from our God, from our pure consciousness, we're drawn away of what we are. It's really interesting because the pure consciousness within these bodies is everything. Yet, when we enter these bodies, we become almost, if you will, separated from that pure consciousness. It is because of external influence, that creates this for us. And it's not like we're aware of it. If you go to our child time, when our bodies were young, now that doesn't mean that the pure consciousness is young, it just means that the bodies are young. So, when we are in small bodies and we have not been influenced from external authorities, from happenings, from other people's thoughts, as we progress and the body grows, we don't have a care in the world. We are free and we are blissful. Now think about that. The pure consciousness, the God, enters the body. It enters the body to experience the physical existence, so to speak. We have no idea what hot and cold is. We have no idea really truly what water is. We have no idea what our hands are for, or our feet, or our legs. We don't have a clue. All we know is that our pure consciousness has entered a different form, a physical form, so to speak, in a different reality, a different existence than what we are accustomed to. In pure consciousness, we flow effortlessly with all things. We are, in reality, all things. We are endless existence, eternity, infinity. So imagine that. And then we enter these bodies, and if you ever noticed how amazed we are at our hands, and how we're amazed at big bodies. We stare at them like, wow. And if you ever noticed when you were a kid, everything was huge, you know? I mean, I remember when I was a kid in San Rafael Village in California, and there was a ditch behind our house. And the ditch seemed like it was a cavern, like it was huge. And then many years later, I revisited the area, and the ditch was just tiny. It was just so small. So perspectives shift. And as the body grows, and as we absorb external influences, we change. We learn that we can burn ourselves, or we could drown ourselves, or we can get injured and we can get harmed. But in the beginning, we have none of those fears. None of them. So isn't it interesting how we pick up things like a magnet? And I know that you're vibrating with that because you remember. It's not like we forget. Just because the body grows, it doesn't mean that what we were in the beginning of the body isn't what we are now. We are the same. We are the pure consciousness. What has changed? It is the external influences that have literally conditioned us, so to speak, on this planet. How we operate, how we believe, how we view things. And that is the body. That is the physical experience and exposure that we experience as pure consciousness. So what do we do? How do we merge and come back into our own, into the pure consciousness that we are? As Buddha discovered, as Christ discovered, and as we realize, as many others discovered, that we realign ourselves with the true gods, the true consciousness that we are. While in these bodies, yes, we do experience things. Yes, we do take on character and personality, depending on what influences externally form us, form our physical beingness from the standpoint of attitude, how we look at things, how we interact with others. And it's separate in a way. You realize that it's separate, but yet we are not separate. We are one. So when we choose to, in our own way, in our own direction, we choose to say, I'm going to go within me. I'm going to interact with my God and understand what I am. You have your pure consciousness, and you have no limits. And it's interesting how the body experience portrays limits to us, that we have limits, and it's so many of these things. Where does that influence, where is it retained, and how does it literally control us at times? How is that? How does that work from our pure consciousness, the God's within, supreme, super powerful, advancing consciousness, to wandering in bodies, not knowing, displaced, confused, worried, stressing, fearing? It's while in physical form, it comes from our ego-ness, our egoic influence while we're in the body. And the egoic influence is the ego mind, which dictates to us on a daily basis. It doesn't mean that many of us are aware of it. It's not that we are aware of it. It is just we accept it because all we understand is that's part of us. That's what we are. That's how we do. And instead of turning the direction from your pure consciousness, identifying the ego mind, the egoic influences, and literally dampening those influences. This is part of being within. It's the journey within, discovery, the discovery of you, on who you are. Not the flesh, not this physical form, but discovering who you really are, your pure consciousness, your God. And along the way, we begin to drop away things. We no longer entertain them. It's such as our prosperity consciousness, our attitude and direction. It isn't, and see how we view it, it isn't dependent on money. It isn't, it's dependent on your consciousness. Your prosperity is dependent on your consciousness. It doesn't shift, it doesn't flip, but if you really want to know, your prosperity is dependent on your consciousness. Your happiness is dependent on your consciousness. Your bliss is dependent on your consciousness. And it goes further. It goes into leading yourself. Is your consciousness. Governing yourself is your consciousness. You've heard the statements, we probably make them to each other, we do, and others make them with each other. Are you consciously aware of what you're doing? I have a troubled consciousness. My consciousness is troubled. This is where this is the core of our being. It is all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It is always expanding. It's always intensifying and expanding, and it's always growing. And it never stops. This is why so many of us on this planet suffer, are without, starve, don't have enough water, hydration, don't have enough money to do the things that we desire and enjoy this existence. This is why it is a disconnection and an unknowing of our consciousness. Your consciousness is what should be leading, guiding, and walking with you every step of the way. And when you can walk with your consciousness in this physical world, you have literally freed yourself consciously. You are aware. You are aware of your surroundings. You are also aware that your consciousness has had a lot to do with those surroundings. The more that any of us, can conceive, the more will come into our life. Now, there's twists to that. The more that you can conceive, the more will come into your life. Now, it goes both ways. If you conceive problems, worry, stress, fear, doubt, you will literally continue to bring more of that into your life. Now, how many people say, "Oh, I know all that. Yeah, I'm fully aware of that." But their actions say the opposite. And everything that is created, everything that each and every single one of us, every single atomic second because of us. It is literally because of us. This is why we talk so much about having no attachments, having no expectations. And I'll tell you, the root of that is the seduction of the physicality that we're inhabiting of our pure consciousness. It's inhabiting this physicality. So it's an experience. So we embrace it because, and now this may sound a little strange to some people, it is all enjoyable. Every single step of it. You bang your knee, you get arthritis, you have physical issues here, but you are still, your consciousness is still in the body. Now, eventually, each of us will learn fully that whatever happens to the body can be fixed by our consciousness. We know now that these vessels were not meant to expire unless we deemed them to expire. You see how it's been twisted? Not only this planet and all the things on it, but all the planets. There are those, though, that have evolved enough to understand that they are immortal. And this is not from an egoic, egotistical perspective. It is a knowing. It is just fact. Period. This is where we can go if we choose to go. And I think people believe that because of these external influences that we aren't going to have enough. Some people are going to get a lot, and then there won't be enough for us, or for me, or for you, and that's a continual worry. And this is what's really interesting. There's so much that there's no way that anybody could take anything from you or you from them. It isn't doable. So you picture this, again, as a golden ocean of ever-flowing abundance and prosperity. And when you don't have expectations and attachments, and you go with the flow, it means that you aren't trying to force anything. You know, when we force things in our lives, that's when we get uneasiness. That's when we get fearful, because the egoic energies press you for worry, stress, and fear, which means it literally goes to the heart mind, says, okay, now, heart mind, worry, stress, and fear, doubt, and guilt, and more and more and more of it. And the trick and the trap for us is that once we travel there, once we go there, it isn't briefly, we tend to literally increase it and attract more and more of it without knowing that what we're sending in our emotions, we're also receiving the same. What you send, you receive. And when we realize that we are one on this planet, where people do not worry about their finances or those who covet their wealth, begin to realize that it is for everyone, that it is to be in motion for the entire population. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine those who hoard, those that keep away vast fortunes and only keep it for them and do not understand that it's for everyone? That's why it is so imperative for the project development on this planet, for everyone to understand that this is for everyone. It isn't for a group of elite people who wish to keep technologies to themselves or sabotage those for the civilization. This is a constant flow of wealth and prosperity that washes over this planet and the entire civilization. And they are part of us. They are part of the one. And that's what makes it so interesting. You understand that just because that you're extremely wealthy does not mean you are not bicameral. It's quite interesting. It doesn't mean that all of those on this planet are bicameral from the standpoint of residual bicamerality. It is because of the fact that they are in the they aren't aware they're conscious. That's why the coveting. That's why handfuls carry the wealth, and the rest of the people run after it, trying to get a piece of it. This is all wrong. It is twisted. Money, and whatever it may be, most planets don't have money. The civilizations thrive. They don't have banks and financial structures. People aren't worried in their civilization if they're not going to have enough, or worried that they have too much, or fearful that someone's going to take it from them. This is not going with the flow. It is an upstream thinking. Upstream thinking is fighting everything, scratching, clawing, banging, yelling, screaming, worrying, crying, fearing, frustration. That is upstream thinking. That's when you fight the upstream. You're fighting against the current of your existence. You are not flowing with yourself, with the God that you are. You are fighting it every inch of the way. And that's why there is so much turmoil and stress created not only with ourselves in this world, but with everyone. We have conflict with ourselves, so we have conflict with others. We have anger with ourselves, so we have anger with others. We have fear for ourselves, so we have fear with others. We have lack of worry with ourselves, means we have it with others. We conjure different occurrences and instances when we're in those lower frequencies. It is relentless, and we never take a step back for the most part. And that's why it continues. That's why these things continue with this civilization. And when I say that we are everything, we are. We're the money on this planet. We're the wealth. It doesn't mean that you have it in your front living room stacked to the ceiling. It means that you are the wealth. You are the power. It is your pure consciousness that literally generates whatever direction, the wealth will flow. So if you're trained in that physical body for generations to have the worry, to accept the fact that you will not be wealthy, but you'll get by, to accept the fact that, wow, $1 billion, I never thought about having that much money, or $1 trillion, wow, that's a lot of money. It isn't that. It is endless wealth on the planet. But imagine and understand that if you don't know who you are, and you have not convened with the God within you and the pure consciousness and understanding what that means, then you will have turmoil. And you will invite more turmoil. That might be slight, might be just barely, might be a lot. But it's worry of not having that sterilizes and freezes the civilization's forward movement and growth. It's worried about the body dying and being no more, being eliminated, and having to leave it. It's worried about not being able to eat, not being able to have water, not being able to have clothes, not being able to have a roof over your head. All of these insecurities are created by the physicality of the egoic energy that is generated from the mind, ego mind. And it all stems from there. And it is relentlessly at us 24/7. It never ends. It never has any intention of ending. And remember that your mind has no structure. It's everywhere. It generates thoughts. Your ego mind generates thoughts that aren't yours, and it is a constant interaction, and it's a dispelling effect trying to keep you away from structure, from understanding, from flow, from embracing your God and the pure consciousness that you are. So your abundance, your wealth, your happiness, your bliss, your joy is all dependent on your pure consciousness. It is all dependent on knowing what is it that you are, your pure consciousness. You're everything. You know, I know it's difficult for many to grasp what that means. It means that whatever you direct your energy towards, you are going to create every single time. Whether you're conscious or unconscious of it, you are going to create it every single time. So if you operate, and you choose to operate, which many do because they are ignorant to the fact of what they are, they will continually invite nothing but frustration and turmoil for the most part in their existence. The worry and the stress and the fear. Eventually the stress will destroy the biological form holding the pure consciousness. This is a vessel that holds pure consciousness. All right? It is no different than transferring your pure consciousness into any object. You could transfer your pure consciousness into a door. You will eventually learn how to do that. You can transfer your pure consciousness into anything you choose, anywhere, anytime. And you can transfer your pure consciousness. And you will, and by me saying that, those of you will feel the vibrational frequency in your heart mind and your heart chakra, understanding that this is true. Now, the perplexity is the ego mind trying to convince you to be fearful, worried, stressed, afraid of this knowing. It comes in from every avenue. So it's our choosing to be diligent and aware and alert that whenever the ego mind starts to try to disintegrate our understanding and to confuse it and misdirect it, we are there very softly with much power to direct the ego mind into semi-retirement and eventually full retirement. These are things that we must learn in order to ascend, to advance, to continually perfect, learn, experience. This is all part of it. So this meditation is simply put, your pure consciousness can inhabit anything. You see how we're starting to understand it doesn't necessarily have to be a biological form. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure we all are. First thing that we want to do is we want to relax our bodies. We all, like magnets, attract stress. You could just be sitting somewhere thinking that you're relaxed, and you're not. You're attracting stress, some way, shape, or form. Maybe you don't even know it, but you're attracting stress. You're attracting fear, doubt, worry, unsettledness. And then it goes into self-esteem for yourself, how you view yourself. Your insecurities start to kick in. generated and manifested by the ego mind. Thoughts that aren't even yours. See, when that happens to us, it means we're not going with the flow. It means that we have expectations and attachments with whatever it is in this life. So our pure consciousness can inhabit anything. It needs to get out there to the civilization. Not from, not them thinking it's crazy lunatic, but it's reality. And we are supreme reality. So we relax the body. Let go. Detach. No expectations. No attachments. Flow. Do you think your pure consciousness is stymied and boxed in? It flows constantly, everywhere. It's just that most of us aren't aware of that, and we aren't connected with it. So in reality, the body relaxes. What can send the signal to the body to relax? Your pure consciousness, your God. That's what it can do. Amongst many other things. So the body begins to relax, dropping our shoulders, ease. And as we relax our body, we move into the now, and the now is really important because that encompasses our breath, our breathing. It's not easy to stay in the now. We all know that. It is in a cinch because we're so used to being in the future and the past. We just don't pay any attention to now. You can catch yourself that you're in the now and you think you're in the now, and you can catch your mind, your ego mind, pulling you away into other thoughts, and before you know it, you've got thoughts from way into the future and way into the past, and you've left the now completely by itself. It's an empty line. And we all do it. We all do it. And you say, I'm going to stay in the now, and I'm going to concentrate on my breath, and the next thing you're doing, you got these thoughts coming in about something in the future or projecting, or you start going over some things in the past. It's absolutely nutsy cuckoo with all the thoughts that we have coming at us that mostly aren't ours, that we have picked up from others as we have progressed through this life. It's just amazing. So we relax the body, and we're in the now, and we breathe, and it helps us focus on the now. But we also have to we've got to understand it. The breath alone we know that we're in the now, but we focus on the moment as we're in the breath. So the moment is the breath, and the breath is the moment. So it focuses us to whatever we're doing in that space between heartbeats. That's the moment. It is fleeting. Every split second, there is another moment. But we stay in that space between heartbeats. That's the moment. That's our focus. And after a while, we practice that enough, it becomes automatic. So as we breath in through the nose, we take easy inhale. Not real strong and hard, but relaxedly so you don't stress the body, you ease the body. So you bring it in through your nose, pull it in, and then you push it out through your mouth. So picture this, visualize it. You breath in. You feel the breath literally come in through your sacral chakra. You feel it as you pull it in, as you breathe, as you breath it in. You pull it in, and you start to move it up through the body, up through the center of the body. Feel it as you bring it from the sacral chakra, which is in the groin area where that's located etherically, and then you bring it up all the way through the chakras up into the heart chakra, and then up into the throat chakra, and then up into the third eye chakra, which is the center of the forehead, and then up to the crown chakra, which is the whole top of the head, the whole surrounding. That's why they call it the crown chakra. Now, as you pull it in, you bring it into the brain cavity, back of the head, kind of, and you hold it just briefly. I am light, I am love, I am. And as you hold it, that brief moment, you compress it into pure liquid energy. And as you compress it, you then release it over the pineal gland. The pineal gland no longer stays pruned, it begins to expand. Just like the rosebud, and it begins to bloom. And the more you nurture it and water it, more beautiful and fuller the bloom. So you picture that. The pineal gland is our gateway to all the particles of existence in this body. It is the gateway to pure consciousness. It is the gateway to all things beyond. So it is important for us while we're in these physical bodies. So we do this at least 6 times. We breath in, we pull it up through the chakras. We hold it for a brief moment, and then we release it over the pineal gland. And the pineal gland begins to expand. It begins to nurture. And we begin to expand through our pure consciousness of understanding. So picture it over and over and over again. Root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, crown chakra. There's 7 main chakras in the center of our bodies. Picture it. Now, we are one with our God, with our pure consciousness. We are one with the heart-mind. We have many with us. We are also very consciously aware that we are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude. We have 2 other groups with us right now. They're always with us. We have the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, and the archetypes, who too are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude. This is a civilization that vibrates at a higher frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them like we see each other, but they're there. It will appear in humanoid form at times, just to leave us a really wonderful message. And if we are aware, and we have found the God within, then we will recognize the message. And then they are gone from our vision, from our sight. They also can surround any one of us at any time. In a very small space, they can house thousands because of their frequencies surrounding us, and that is pure bliss. You can speak with them anytime you want. Communicate with them anytime you want through the heart-mind. We also have the Ascended Masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Sananda, Jesus, El Morya, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, and many, many, many more. These are those pure conscious that ascended out of body and hold their pure consciousness, their God form. That's what they are now. So understand, when you master your pure consciousness, you understand what, who, and what you are, you're able to literally inhabit any form you choose or take on any form you choose at will. To assist, to support, to help. We've ascended into body to experience physical form. They've experienced physical form just like we have many, many, many times. We will get to a point where we won't always inhabit physical form, only for certain reasons to affect change or shift. Now, we all are drawn together since we are the one. And as we're drawn together, we form a circle around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, in this now, in this meditation. And as we do this, our physical form, so to speak, is light. All you see is brilliant, radiant light. And this light is the pure consciousness, deep eternal love, gratitude. It is very high frequency. And we create this frequency once we are purely understanding our pure consciousness at will. And this is a different light. It's not like floodlights or lights on Earth. It is a much denser, expansive, brilliant light. If you compare it to the sun in the solar system, the sun dims. It's a dim light compared to this light that we generate. It grays out the darkness of space. Darkness is an opportunity for the light to expand, not the other way around. So, we begin to levitate up above the planet. And as we do that, we're met with a beautiful gossamer field that's everywhere. This field, this gossamer field, has all of these brilliant, vibrant, multicolors, trillions of colors, reflecting, sparkling, glittering everywhere. Softly, gentle. You feel the eternal love energy frequency, the bliss and the joy, the pure consciousness of it. And we're met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column that reminds us that we are the power of healing. We also have the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column that reminds us of our power, our strength, our resolve. We also have the white fire. This is a brilliant light, the same light of our circle of light. It is absolutely radiant and brilliant. You can see the flames. They're not hot flames. So they're not like a bonfire type flame. They're a pure, perfect white flame. Divine perfection. And this is a very high frequency of deep eternal love and gratitude. Can't be penetrated by the lower dark matter frequencies, lower survival matter frequencies. They'll vaporize as they get near it. But we choose. And if we choose to lower our frequencies low enough, that white fire armor will dissipate. It will weaken enough for the lower vibrational frequencies to move in. So if that happens, we are reminded of the purple transmuting flame. Brilliant purple. Flaming. And this column reminds us that we can bring that in to transmute those lower vibrational frequencies into neutral light substance. We just whisk it away to the pure consciousness, where it is absorbed and it is no more. We're also reminded of the violet ray. This is a column, beautiful violet, radiant light. And And it reminds us that we can literally bring it in behind where the purple transmuting flame was, and purify, cleanse, and lift the vibrational frequency of you. Therefore, restoring balance and harmony, and your white fire armor. It is your choice every single time. Only your choice. We have the golden white pink flaming light of deep eternal love and gratitude, of the highest of highest high vibrational frequencies of our pure consciousness. This column reminds us repeatedly that we are the love, that we are the one, and that we are the God. Now we continue to levitate up above the planet, and as we do, we go higher and higher. We see this massive column that we created that's larger than our solar system. It is a prism of trillions of reflective color. You can see it shimmering softly, gently. And as it does, we look at the top, and we've created this cascading ocean coming off in all directions, 360 degrees. And this ocean bathes, saturates, and floods all things, all existence, this entire planet Earth, Gaia, all the life, endlessly, lifting, always continually lifting, and making those of understanding more consciously aware that they are pure consciousness, and that they are love, and that they are gratitude, and that they are bliss and joy. We, each of us, are drops of that golden ocean. We hold the essence of that whole ocean. Now, those of us holding physical form, we step outside of our bodies. We float effortlessly above our bodies. And as we do this, we're all compelled to call out to all the light energy beings that are in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest eternal love, from the highest, deepest eternal love, and the highest and deepest eternal gratitude, can join us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. And they are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest eternal love and the highest and deepest eternal gratitude. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and bliss. Humbleness, joy, peace, tranquility, and benevolence. And they come in the gigaplexes. One gigaplex fills this universe. They come in the trillions of gigaplexes. Arm in arm, hand in hand, their gods with our gods with theirs. They are with us in this now, in this meditation, this circle of light. They are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and the highest of deepest eternal love. We are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and the highest of deepest eternal love. And we are all the one. And we are all the love. And we are all the God. And our God light energy is absolutely everywhere, and it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We call upon all of the inhabitants of inner Earth, hollow Earth, Agartha, and beneath Earth. All of these civilizations, many, many, many of them, only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love, from the highest, deepest, eternal love, and the highest of deepest, eternal gratitude, can join us in this meditation, in this now, in this circle of light. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, and benevolence. And they come in the billions, arm in arm, hand in hand, their gods with our gods with theirs. They are with us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude and the highest of deepest eternal love. We are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitude and the deepest of eternal love. And we are the one. And we all are the love. And we all are the God. And our God-light energy is absolutely everywhere. And it continues to intensify. And it continues to expand. We call upon all the off-worlders, all the galactic, many, many, many civilizations. You're only familiar with a fraction of them. Just to name a few, the feline, the avian, the Saturnians, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, the Arcturians, the Golden Pyramid, many, many, many more. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love, from the highest, deepest, eternal love, and the highest of deepest, eternal gratitude, can join us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, and benevolence, and they come in the billions. They have been assisting us with our evolution, with our enlightenment, with our ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. Arm in arm, hand in hand, their gods with our gods with theirs. They are with us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude and the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love. We are in the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude and the highest of deepest eternal love. And we all are the one. And we all are the love. We all are the God. And our God-light energy is absolutely everywhere. And it continues to intensify and it continues to expand. We call upon all of our loved ones, all of those who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love, from the highest, deepest, eternal love, and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude, can join us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, and benevolence. And they come in the billions, arm in arm, hand in hand. They're gods with our gods with theirs. They're with us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. We are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. And we all are the one. And we all are the love. And we all are the God. And our God-light energy is absolutely everywhere, and it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We call upon all the light energy beings who have decided to be housed in the following forms on, in, above, and below this planet Earth, Gaia, in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude can join us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. Just to name a fraction of them: the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trolls, the trees, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, and the minotaur. Many, many, many more. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, and benevolence, and they come in the trillions. Colors, shapes, sizes, forms, configurations, of which many we have never seen before. Arm in arm, hand in hand, their gods with our gods with theirs. They are with us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They are of the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and the highest of deepest eternal love. We are in the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and the highest of deepest eternal love. And we all are the one. And we all are the love, and we all are the God. And our God-light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We look up and we see our meditative sphere. It's at center circle. We created this sphere over 2 years ago. It holds all of our meditations in perpetual motion. Over 800 meditations in perpetual motion. From the highest of deepest eternal love and the highest of deepest eternal gratitude in pure consciousness. This is why this sphere can be seen, heard, and felt in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We, all of us, are flooded with the highest, deepest eternal love and the highest and deepest eternal gratitude. And gentleness and kindness, generosity and peace, and joy and bliss, and humbleness and tranquility and benevolence. And our conscious awareness is pure consciousness. And everything, all things, all of us, all of our brothers and sisters on this planet Earth, Gaia, on this now, in this meditation, this circle of light. All life, the highest value in the universe, is also pure consciousness. We're all taking on different forms to experience those forms. All progressing, all learning and experiencing. That one day, we will be creators of universes, the grand supreme masters of creation. And yes, they do exist, and they have walked before us, and we are walking the same paths, if we choose, that they have walked. How exciting and how enlightening is that? I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. Nice and easy breath in, breath out. Stay relaxed. Slowly open your eyes. Stretch. Easy, slow movements. Feel your heart. Love that you are. And embrace your pure consciousness. Walk with it throughout the day, into the night, into the following morning. You'll discover the true bliss and joy that you are, the true prosperity, abundance, and wealth that you are. We will be back here Sunday, May 17th